Thousands, potentially 7,000 people come out in this passionate rally against President Donald Trump and his policies in the first few months of his second term in office. It has been a sea of signs, all adamantly opposed to the president's agenda, including his seemingly indiscriminate cuts across the federal government. A big part of the reason that this protest and hundreds like it across the country today is called a hands-off rally, hands-off Social Security, hands-off immigrants. The opposition and frustration is wide-ranging, from anger over the waves of deportation to the disappointment to the dismantling of the Department of Education.
You know, there was talk this week of Democrats and the opposition to Trump kind of finding their sea legs finally. After months in office, you saw Cory Booker's 25-hour speech on the Senate floor. We've seen movements. This weekend is a weekend of mass demonstration, and this is
large protests across the country over the weekend, all over the country, against President Trump's policies, especially deep cuts to government services. As Nicole Killian shows us, people turned out in large numbers, not just in liberal cities, but also in more conservative areas.
In cities big and small, a sea of people. Oregon to Ohio.
The only way you can change is if people get out and make their voices heard.
Denver to Detroit.
Tariffs are just going to raise prices for everybody.
California to Connecticut. And in New York City.
Losing our money, all our 401ks for retired people. We don't work anymore. You just don't get that back.
Signs of anger directed at President Trump and his policies.
From everything to people's rights, to transgender, to trying to get rid of unions.
We are fighting literally for democracy.
The hands-off rallies were held in all 50 states in more than 1,200 locations, including outside the president's Palm Beach golf course. And steps from the White House where members of Congress joined.
To Donald Trump, I say, get your off the golf course and face the people. America first. It's Trump first.
Frustration even stretched across the pond in Paris, Lisbon, and London.
We really want to send a message of solidarity to our friends and families back in America.
Overall, these were peaceful protests with very few arrests.
Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, and a sincere salutations to the hopeful elect, and also a healthy shalom to the few Akwath who are listening and learning. Lord's willing, this lesson be edifying. So, as you already know, we live here in America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, a.k.a. Spiritually Sodom and Egypt, a.k.a. the revised Roman Empire, a.k.a. Rome 2.0. And just as ancient Rome fell, America is on that same path. And this is why you're starting to see more and more sedition of the people, more and more people losing their wits, okay, over, simple everyday incidents. People are on edge, okay, because the struggle is real. And Jake, you tribes, we've always had to deal with these type of living conditions here in America, Babylon the Great, being on the bottom, being poor, finding a way to hustle to get by, to get these bills paid. But these middle-class Edomites, okay, are not used to struggle, okay? And as things continue to get harder and their situation more detrimental and disastrous, you're going to see more and more sedition. Okay, now let's grab Proverbs 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Right, and the people are mourning. The people are mourning. And pertaining to Malachi 1 and 4, we know that the wicked is the nation of Edom. Okay, the Edomites, the so-called self-proclaimed white man. They're in power, they're in rulership, They make the laws, they amend the laws. You know, they have the power to make this world what they wish it to be. And what you're witnessing is a world of Edomite rule, where all the people are in mourning and they're sighing and they're crying. Okay? It's simple as that. Now, this is Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 4. It reads, "And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord." Right. And who are the modern day Egyptians? You Americans. And the Heavenly Father have put you in the hands of a cruel Lord. Trump, DJ Trump. It's beautiful because the propaganda that he ran on to get all you people to vote for him. You know, he always brags about that he won the election overwhelmingly. Okay? So, hey, you made your bed, now you got to lie in it. Okay? So, once again, "And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them." Right. And Trump is a fierce king. You're seeing, we're not even 3-4 months into his second term, and look at you people. He already has you outside picketing, losing money out of your 401ks, you know, complaining, you know, food prices going up. I would say that that's a cruel king, but it's beautiful. It serves y'all right. And continuing on, it says, "And a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah of hosts." Okay? And that's what's taking place. Now, as this cruel Lord continues to rule over you guys and make your lives more of a living hell, you are going to continue to buck up more and more until you completely have no faith in this system. You know, just the sign of people protesting shows a lack of faith in their leadership. So I'm going to play this quick clip and we're going to go from there.
If we take these barbarians in amongst us, our enemies will say it is because we are weak. Then they will pour in on us from everywhere. It will be the end of the Roman Empire. It will be the end of Rome.
The end of Rome? How does an empire die? Does it collapse in one terrible moment? No. But there comes a time when its people no longer believe in it. Then does an empire begin to die.
And this empire is dying, circling the drains. All right, CTD. It is dying. And it's plain to see if you have eyes to see. These people have lost belief. Okay? This is the antonym of the word believe. It says to have faith or confidence. It says in a person. Right. The great white hope. DJ Trump, man. The MAGA fanatics have lost hope, have lost faith, have lost confidence in him. And you're seeing this more and more day by day. The people are believing that they have been swindled, that they have fell for the okie doke. You know, Trump is lacing his pockets with insider training. He screwed them with the Trump coin, made millions. And it was a time once before where people, the common folk, knew that the billionaires and the elites did not have their best interests at heart. But you people have been so dumbed down to the point that you voted a billionaire, an actor, a person of low morals, and put him in the highest seat thinking that he was going to do right by you, when all the other politicians that were ever in didn't do right by you. So it's beautiful, man. Anyway, the writing's on the wall. So from here, let's grab 2nd Esdras chapter 15, because ultimately, as conditions continue to get worse, this is what it's going to lead to. I'm going to get straight to the point. 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their king nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So it's going to eventually go from the streets to the front of these politicians' homes, to the point where they're kicking in doors. All right. And, you know, how does it say, kicking ass and taking names, or taking names and kicking ass? Something like that. All right. So stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. All right. This isn't as the world turns. This is as America continues to fall. All right. Lord's willing, this was edifying. Shalom, Israel. Wa abad babal.